Hi, I'm Debbie. Let's take a little trip in the time capsule and go back in time to our old neighborhoods. Maybe you still live in the same neighborhood where you grew up, but maybe you moved many, many times. Maybe you've got fond memories of your old neighborhood. Maybe you have terrible memories of it. But I'm going to go back to my old neighborhood and take a little walk with you, and you can see what my childhood was like. Okay, I grew up on a street called Willow Drive, which was near the Erie Canal, and we had a big park that went all the way around, like halfway around our neighborhood. It was an old park. It was built in the 1940s, so it had really old slides and teeter totters and um, swings and merry-go-rounds. They were ancient, but we could go over there and play if we wanted. It had a little baseball diamond that we could play on. We had to bring all our own stuff with us, but no problem. And we could watch the barges go down the Erie Canal and the tugboats, and that was a lot of fun. Um, so growing up, I lived in a really, really old house. I think it was, now it's well over 100 years old, and maybe it's 150 years old now. Um, it had three bedrooms, a living room, dining room, a sunroom, a kitchen, and a little nook area. And there was a basement and an attic. And so we didn't spend very much time in the house because my mom had been a PE teacher and was a PE teacher during part of the time we lived there. And so she liked us to be outside all the time. And she was always outside. My mom was the big athlete, and she was always outside playing basketball, going golfing, doing this, doing that. And so we had to be outside too. And so we were. Most of the time was spent outside playing. In the wintertime, my dad would put water on our side lawn, and it would ice up, and we would ice skate on it. And he would put a little barbecue out there and roast hot dogs, and then we'd have s'mores with marshmallows. Roast the marshmallows and have s'mores with chocolate and graham cracker cookies. And so that was a fun time. All the neighbors would come over and skate on the little pond. It wasn't very big, but it was fun. And there was also a real pond that we could skate on, or a real ice skating rink that we could skate on in the park. We had to walk through a big field, quite a distance to get over to it, probably a half a mile to get to it. So we'd all trudge over with our ice skates and go over and skate around. And the boys would play hockey on it, and the girls would try to do figure eights and things that they had seen on the Olympics. And so that was always a lot of fun for us. We'd also build snowmen and snow forts in the wintertime because we lived outside of Buffalo and it was really cold. So we had lots of time to play in the snow. And we were always out with our overalls on, our snowsuits on, playing in the snow and having wars, snowball fights, and everything. In the summertime, we had very simple birthday parties. Um, we would just invite the neighborhood kids. There were no invitations or anything. We would just say, "Hey, you want to come to my birthday party? It's at 3 o'clock," and our moms would bake a cake for that day, and then they would come over. They didn't really bring presents. They would just come over to have some cake and ice cream, and we'd do that. And maybe we'd play pin the tail on the donkey, um, or some simple game like that. And that was what consisted of a birthday party in those days. Um, Now, the friends that I have seen them since I've been an adult too. In the past 2 years, I've gone to see my friend Sharon, who lived across the street from me, kitty corner across the street. I've gone to her house to visit Sharon and her husband George twice in Chicago, and they took me all around, and I met their daughters and their grandchildren and had a great time with them. And then my friend Cynthia and I, who lived at a little bit up the street, I used to babysit her rabbit whenever they would go on vacation. His name was Bunny, and she used to watch our animals when we would go on vacation. And well, if we didn't take them with us, but we usually did. But if we were going someplace that wasn't that far away, we were going for a day or two, she would watch our animals. But Cynthia and I had a great friendship. She was an art teacher, and I had been trained as an art history major, so we both liked art a lot. And Cynthia unfortunately passed away from cancer years ago. But all the way up to her end, whenever I would be in the area or she would be in the area, wherever we would be close together, we'd meet up and reminisce about the good old days. And Cynthia and I started a lot of things. We had puppet shows in my backyard. My parents had this old piece of furniture that my mom made into a little puppet show for us, and she made some curtains, and then we had these homemade puppets, and we had puppet shows, and we charged like 3 cents or something to come to the puppet show. And if they got refreshments, I think it was 5 cents if they got popcorn. And so we'd make up all the little shows and the skits that would go with it. And then we made parades. We organized all the kids, and everybody had their little job to do in the parade. And we'd march down the street, and sometimes we'd play instruments and things, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of the people that I was friends with and that lived on my street are Facebook friends of mine. So I have a whole bunch of friends that I still talk to all the time, or they comment on my posts, or I see how their families are doing, and it's really fun to catch up with them on there. And Cynthia, even though she had passed away, her mother was still alive, and she was still living in the neighborhood. And then her brother was also around. So one time when I was coming back from Canada, I got in touch with them, and they met us at a little hot dog stand near our old neighborhood. And we got together and we were laughing and talking about all the fun times that we had. So it's great to keep in touch with your old friends from the good old days. Now, my house on Willow Drive has been remodeled, and I can't look at it. I can't even look at a picture of it. I don't want to see it. Every time I drive down the street, I go like this because I don't want to see it, because I want to remember it the way that it was. But if you have an old memory to share, or something that you want to comment about your childhood growing up, post a comment below, please, and let us know what it was like with you growing up. And if you enjoyed this, please think about subscribing or like the video, and I'll make some more. Thank you so much for stopping.